Hi everyone, Ombute Devi here. So you know how you have gathered so much experience over the time of your life and teachings, different processes, your own structure or programs that you have created for yourself and for others to help others. And then when there is a time for ourselves to sort of evolve further, and when I say further, we're always evolving. Consciousness is always evolving, right? And in the meantime, our bodies are just keeping up and always not benefiting from our lifestyles and what wavelength we're on, right? So I found this last past new moon in Scorpio, I found it very interesting because I was very perturbed and I have wanted to come back on the platform like I was in the previous past years, where I felt like I had a lot to say, a lot to share. There was a lot of things moving in me, and there was a connection from the out, from my inside to the outward sort of communication of it. Not always can we put it into words when we're going through different stages of awakening, because we're in an experience and sometimes our inner landscapes and our outer haven't really connected yet. And so it's kind of like the front office and the back office. That's the best I can refer to it. So that needs to kind of, be harmonized, because the back office sometimes have to restructure, rechange things, and reorganize, while the front office still have to keep things going, right? And it takes a while for that to really harmonize and become a sort of a new way of being. Still being able to facilitate, an expression that is generative, restorative to yourself, and also supportive, and being in service to whatever that it is that you are in service to or that you are in devotion to. So back to the moon again, like this was what happened. I started to feel perturbance and I started to really get anxious about, why is it that I feel like I have nothing to say? I really don't. I feel like I have nothing to say, nothing of real importance, nothing that nobody else knows or can be supportive of. But there's a state in me that I can't really articulate. And I started to think about that more and more. And during the moon, I felt this real sense that because I have created some spaciousness in my life, a break in my lifestyle, I have unplugged from the social media for about 5 months or so over the winter. I was able to then let my body rest a bit on all levels, on all dimensions that was coming through, moving through me. And I started to digest and started to have a different level of embodiment of what was really happening in the back office, so to speak. And I'm still in it. And if you are, driven and you're really passionate about helping other people and, teaching, guiding, leading, there is this drive, because that's how we identify, that's how we also get nourished and fed, but when there's nothing really coming and we are committed to an organic, authentic expression, because it's not a time for us to, be performative at this moment. And so much if you're feeling like shit, it's like I'm not connecting, it's not connecting, I'm not getting the response that I want, or I don't feel connected in the same way, or I just feel like I'm chewing the same old gum, so to speak. I mean, this could be why, right? Because lots of things are happening, right? But inside of us, I am actually connecting to something that is, when I talk about staying organic, to something that is a new way of perceiving myself. Even the construct of, the structure that we use to perceive ourselves, to discern what's going between our inside and our outside, even that place is changing. The energies are changing there too. So it can be bewildering, right? So that's why, yes, I have a practice that meditation, coherence practice, but even that has been different because I have perceived it differently and from an older orientation. And so even that was a bit of a challenge until, like, how hard is it to let go? How hard is it to be still? How hard is it to be just simply organic with what is? And even if you can't figure out what is, because that's what happens with us, like a lot of the suffering is from not knowing, the anxiety is from not knowing ourselves, not knowing what's going on in us. And our front office is still having to be open. We still have our lives that we still have to keep on moving and dealing with. And if you're taking care of family, if you're taking care of your business, if you're taking care of just your body, your everyday needs, but there's something deeper in you that's like really changing, then I invite us to really be with that. I'm not sure how to express it. I am feeling there's something that I want to be able to support in actually inviting us into a state, a non-verbal communication state. So I might go back like 4 or 5 years ago. I used to do a daily broadcast of a frequency from a state of being, which is a primordial experience to be in, of just sound and voice. So I'm or sound and just through the voice, not words. And yeah, so that might be something that I decide to venture into. And yes, if you're just new to my channel, if you just happen to come through and you go, who is this crazy ass lady, what is she talking about? I'm just talking about my experience from like going completely into hibernation, glitching when I'm coming out of it, glitching. There's things that are glitching from the inside to the outside, things are still digesting, we're still metabolizing, we're still reorganizing the energy structures within us. And this, we're not doing it here. This is happening unconsciously, subconsciously. And so it can be a little overwhelming, but absolutely trust the biology. Trust the biology. And I think this is the biggest surrender right now. Surrendering to our biology with common sense, right? Rest, digest, nurture, sacred touch. People call it healing touch. We are always healing on some level. I mean, the nature heals itself naturally, but we have to be in an environment for optimal sort of like healing to happen. So so the sounding might be one of the things that I will actually do, because leading you into meditation, doing these guided journeys, somehow I have nothing really to say about it. So I'm being invited to do something different here from a state of where I just feel like I have nothing to say. And that was a lot of talking for someone to have nothing to say. But this is what I wanted to experience, is being out here and saying, oh, I have nothing to say because this is what's going on. And because what happened we with the moon and all the astrological lines up, what is happening, we can see this tug of war from the inside to the outside, like meaning we're having these glitches between the back office and the front office right now. And so hang in there, loves, hang in there, loves. So I'll see you next time. I just want you to know that you're not alone. If you're feeling like you're losing your mind and the sky's falling, know that we're just being shooken up, right? Because that is how we can get the structure. Chaos, from chaos. We need chaos, everything up in the air, to be able to have an organic new structure form itself. But we have to sort of get out of the way a little bit, I think. All right, so much love. Mwah. Gotta run. See you next time.